Welcome to Make Me Mold Me Empowerment Radio Talk Show. Every week, take part in a candid discussion addressing the topics, issues that are common with today's couples. The Earlys are willing to share as they grow to help you grow as a couple. You already know how to break up. Now learn how to stay together. And now, the host of your show, Demetrius and Katrina Early.
Good morning and welcome to the Make Me Mold Me Empowerment Radio Talk Show, where I'm your host, Demetrius Early. This is my lovely wife,
Katrina Early. Good morning.
But I got to start this thing off right. I thought it was very interesting this morning. I looked at my wife and I was asking her a question. I was like, baby, how could you be so well put together and then still look at me like I have to say how beautiful you are? And so I said, you know what? Now that I'm learning this as a husband, I think I need to take this to a little bit more exclusive level. And so this morning, I took it to another level, y'all. I'm just going to be real with y'all. So, hey, I looked at my baby this morning and I saw she had a pupil on her cheek. And I told her, I said, baby, you look so good. I said, even your pupil look good, girl. Girl, your pupil look good to me this morning. She just blushing. I love it about you, girl. You're so beautiful. Good morning, baby.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Pupil look. I must really be in love. So listen, now we excited. We have some very special guests in the studio with us this morning. And man, I'm just really excited because I was thinking about you guys last night, and these are people from my hometown. Not only from my hometown, we're from the same neighborhood, and we went to the same school. And even Chris and I shared in the band together. We sat right next to each other in the band at Fairpark High School. So how awesome is it to have good friends like you guys to be our first power couple guest? So we're gonna give it up this morning for Christopher and Stormy Watts. Woo-hoo. The power couple, y'all. The first one. Make Me Mold Me. Welcome to the first power couple. We're excited about this, y'all. We love you guys. We're excited this morning. So thank you guys and welcome you guys to the show. How y'all doing this morning?
We're good. Well. Thanks for asking. It's been a blessing already to come in here and to see y'all so chipper.
Well, life is good. Chris, I remember you. Don't be trying acting all shy because I remember you in the band, even in high school. You was a very funny guy. You was a comedian pretty much almost. And you don't want to admit to that. But
No.
He was a very comedian. But he was one of those comedians where you had to think about the joke. Somebody say something about you, you don't know he said something about you.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He make you think about did he just talk? Did he just crack on me?
Yeah.
They call it slick capping. Slick capping.
But yeah, we're excited to have you guys on the show this morning. We have some questions for you guys. And we want to kind of give you guys a little small history on what Make Me Mold Me Empowerment Radio Talk Show is all about. And, we noticed that in our society, there's a lot of people who are striving to have that perfect mate in their life. And sometimes we don't really know how to attract that right person. And we go through a lot. And so I was one of those people at one time where I just didn't get it right. I just didn't know how to get that area of my life right. So when I finally met my queen, the real one, the one that really completed me, God really put it on both of our hearts to really share our love story and share with people. And it just turned into an opportunity where God put us in a position where we can have this show. And so we're excited to share that with the world. But we're also excited to know that there are couples out there like us that share the same type of love. And you guys have been doing it for 18 years, so you guys are true inspiration to us. So we thank you guys once again. And honey, you want to share why the show is important to you and how it came to be for you?
It's very important as we look at our books, and we all have our books here, our workbooks, so we're excited about that. And what Make Me Mold Me concept is built off of is spiritual, holistic living, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. So our ministry has been built off of a holistic lifestyle. Spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. And we also realize that's what our love has been built off of as well. So we're just excited to be able to share with you all as a power couple. And we just want to know just a couple of things about you.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of people in this world right now that needs to know that, true love do exist. In 2016, it does exist. There's a beautiful structure that God has put in place for us. And a lot of times people think they have to be perfect, but there's nobody perfect, right?
That's right.
So there is someone perfect for you, though.
That's
right. There's a perfect mate out there for you. And so we want to be that example and see if you guys can help us with that today.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So first of all, y'all can tell us, Chris, however y'all want to do it, y'all can tell us a little bit about how y'all met and how it started for Chris and Stormy?
What, 18 years ago?
18 years ago. Well, actually, it started over 25 years ago. So if it's okay with my husband, if it's okay if I start the story and maybe he want to tell his side of it and see
Ladies
if we
first.
coincide with each other.
Ladies first.
But I would like to thank you, the Earlys, for inviting us here today to share our story. And it's an awesome time for us to share our story because we are embarking upon our 18th wedding anniversary.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we got married on the 4th of July.
Wow, look at that. That
Just like that. Yeah. You know, you have to start out early being able to work with them so they will have a date that they could never forget.
I think I may have messed up.
Well, we'll see.
September 12th. September 12th, baby.
Okay, all right. So, but we had fireworks way back then, huh, babe? So that's how it really started, right?
Yeah, real fireworks.
The amazing thing is I attended a high school 2 years before I attended the high school which Chris and I both graduated from. And so I guess I would say I left there, the other high school, running from a boy and ran into my husband. And it was just something about him. I was always that type of girl. If you knew that I like you, you would actually never know. Mm-hmm. It would just be between me, myself, and I. But he was one of those guys that he was different from the type of guy that I liked. It was just something about him. And I just knew that it was different. And I liked his character. He was funny, as Demetrius has said. And he was neat. And he was into his education. You know, he was not like a lot of the other guys during that time, because in the early 90s, you know, we were coming up in the gangbang era and it was cool, you know, but he wasn't. And I could tell that he was devoted. And guess what, y'all? He had a job.
Wow. That's a good
That
point.
separated him from everyone else.
And so his job was at Jerry's Barbershop. And so he gave me the number to Jerry's Barbershop to call him at work. Mm-hmm. And so the rest is history. It started our life, and he has been awesome. He has been an amazing husband, an amazing support system, an amazing father. I could never be grateful enough for everything that he has been for me, you know, through our entire life. We have had challenges. We have been faced with things that most people would never even begin to imagine. But our strength and faith in God has been able to bring us through a whole lot that we could never tell just during this show. But we'll be happy to share some of the things about it, because I believe, I was telling Demetrius yesterday, it's amazing how that when we say yes to God, that it's not just saying yes to be in the pulpit to preach to an audience, but it's giving God a yes to whatever you need me to be, whatever you need me to say, wherever you need me to go. So I believe that yes that we gave to God back some time ago was, you know, a door that opened for us to allow our ministry to be on a platform, you know, to say that you can make it, you know, if you put God first in whatever you do.
Amen.
And that you just stay on his course. And, you know, even though when your prayers aren't being answered in the way that you think they should, God's will is still being done in your life.
Amen.
Yeah, you better preach that thing.
She about to start preaching.
Yeah,
I have a question for Stormy, because even as we're interacting and you all are talking, you can still see the love after 18 years and you flirting and all of that. Yeah. So my question is, how do you keep your love fresh for each other?
Well, I guess my thing is he never knows who's coming home from the beauty shop, first of all.
Never know.
Sometimes I'm blonde, sometimes I'm red, sometimes I'm black. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is, it's as long as whatever makes me happy makes him happy.
Awesome.
And that has been the thing that I think that has kept us fresh in the relationship, because he's okay with change. Uh-huh. You know, it's not, he loves the person that I am, not whoever I appear to be. And so I think that's what keeps us so fresh and keeps us so in love. And he says some of the things that probably is too much to say on the air, but
I was about to say yes.
He keeps it really real to keep our relationship alive.
That's awesome.
I got a question for Chris. Chris, tell me this, man. How did you keep after 18 years? Because, you know, that's one of the things that I want to know personally. I know there's a lot of people out there that's listening right now want to know the same thing. for 18 years, man, in our generation, that's pretty impressive, first of all.
Yes, it is.
And, you don't have many couples that grew up. I don't know many guys that I can call that I know, I went to school with, that's been married for 18 years.
Right.
Faithfully married for 18 years.
Right.
So the question I have is, how do you keep your love fresh for each other?
Well, I guess you can say when we first got married, it was a situation where the preacher said, "Well, yeah, let me double tie and double knot this knot for the marriage," and from him or their perspective, I actually took it to heart, and he could tell when we had our moments with him, he could tell that I really really loved her, and my love for her is unconditional love. But a lot of men, you got some of those guys that it's not cool to be in love, but I'm cool to be in love.
Amen, bro.
I don't like problems, and so that's the main objective that I keep in my head at all times. That my love for her is unconditional, and that's how we keep it fresh. I guess you could say we wake up. You know what I'm saying? We wake up different every day. So, like I say, every day is not a good day, but it's not a lot of bad days either.
Amen.
Right.
Awesome.
That's awesome, brother.
Okay, so here's a question. What is you all's favorite love song? What love song would identify Chris and Stormy?
Oh, God. We have so many, but we had so much fun. A few months ago, we were traveling. We don't get to travel alone too much anymore because we have these 3 boys now. But Any Love, Luther Vandross, is one of our favorite love songs. And so we kind of sing it to each other. Some of us don't know all of the words to it, even though it's just 2 of us. I'll just say one of us don't know all the words.
Milli Vanilli.
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to listen to Luther Vandross, Any Love.
Any Love.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about just a couple of challenges that you all may have had over these last 18 years.
And how you overcame them.
And how you overcame them.
Amen.
Okay.
All right.
Any
Luther
love.
Vandross,
By
Any
Luther.
Love.
Any love.
Luther Vandross.
Luther, baby. Hey, we got the.
Everyone needs a love, no doubt. Any
Yeah.
love.
Bring it home, baby. Bring it home. Bring it home.
Any love.
Hey, listen, we having a great time in the
A
studio
great
this morning.
time.
Welcome back to the Make Me Moment Power Radio Talk Show, where I'm your host, Demetrius Early. This is my lovely wife,
Katrina Early, and we have Chris and Stormy Watts here representing the Power Couple.
Power Couple.
Power Couple
Wow.
in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Power Couples is known as 2 individuals that are both influential in many ways. And I think that it's very relevant in 2016 for us to acknowledge those in our community that are powerful people, that are making a positive impact and making a powerful influence on a lot of people. So we wanted to kind of dedicate this show to our guests. Wow. Thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. And before we left, we asked you guys a few questions, so now it's time to get real up in here. You know, we heard the politically correct versions of how, you met, beautiful, love was great, you know what I mean? Y'all favorite song is Luther, Any Love.
Yeah.
But, what about those times when, love just wasn't so present? You know what I mean? Like, when things wasn't going as well as we wanted them to go. Like our response is very important when we're a couple, right?
Yes.
So, my wife and I, we're newlyweds. We just got married 10 months ago.
Right.
And so you guys been in this thing for 18 years.
18 years.
So
Yes.
we applaud you, but we also know that just in our 10 months,
Yes.
man, baby done had some situations and things going on that we didn't understand how to deal with.
Yeah.
So I can imagine just 18
18
years.
years.
The same person?
Yeah, but your first year is the hardest year. And once
that's
you
what it
get
is.
over the first year hurdle,
But
then,
our pitfalls hadn't been each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the outside.
Of course. Well, that's the way that the enemy attacks, because it's not always on the inside that he can get your attention, but most of the time it is from the outside.
People
that
who
those
we were once
attacks.
attached to and
Of
people who
course.
were part of our lives. And
Right.
now with us coming together, they have to accept her and they have to accept me. And
Right.
they don't want to accept me. They don't want to accept her. They want us separate. No, it's one now.
That's right.
So,
And there's
you know.
no separation. And anyone who can easily separate themselves from you were not meant to be with you from the beginning.
Girl, you better start preaching up here.
All right.
Yeah.
Praise
I have
God.
a question for you all. And how do you deal with the difficult situations in your marriage?
With the difficult situations, I guess that, of course, with prayer, Chris is a very patient man. I say, has the patience of Job. Seriously, he does. I mean, it takes a very special man for me. And for us. I know for me, because I know everybody sees the chipper Stormy, the happy Stormy, and truthfully, that is who I am. But I have those moments, those moments of doubt, those moments of fear, but he's that person that can be quiet, but can also talk you through those moments. And I think that's what separates him from most men, because it would take someone like him. I could have never prayed for someone like him. Amen. God had to design him for me.
Amen.
And through those difficult moments, it's because that we love each other enough to know that we can make it through. I think one of the most difficult moments we had, because I've been with him since I was 15 years old, was when we were separated, when he took a job in the oil field and he was not home. And I was there with, at that time, the 2 boys by myself, and I'm trying to raise these kids, and he's trying to be, the man of the house away from the house. But there was 7 days, gap that we didn't get, to be together every day. Wow. Even when he has always worked, another job outside of the car wash. But with the other job, he was at home. So with him not being at home, it made it a very difficult relationship. And it had really came to the point that I was like, okay, I'm gone. I'm leaving. But he wasn't having it. And he walked away from a job that most people would never leave, because he valued his family over everything else.
That's what I'm talking about.
And he stepped out on faith, and God has never allowed us to miss a beat from there. You see, we haven't lost any weight. We haven't been hungry. We still got a home. We've been doing things.
That's good for you to say that, because so many men identify themselves with position, with money. And for you to have the faith and step out and say, you know what? My wife, my family, my kids is more important. I'm gone.
Yes.
That right there makes a big statement within itself, because like Stormy said, a lot of men won't do it.
Yes.
They're going to be, and sometimes Satan will entice the man or the woman with just that thing. Okay, well, here's a job making this amount of money, to even pull the family away from each other.
Right. Yeah. And even though it started out, and I believe that he did what he needed to do at that time, because we were facing some difficult times financially. And, it seems like that we had just came to a pitfall in our business, and it was just like reconstruction. It was worse than from when it first began. I inherited the business from my dad, and it was something that we took over and, began to run and had been doing well. So Chris wanted to do something to keep us up to speed. He was like, we're not losing anything. I'm just going to take this job and I'm just going to go. So he did what a man needed to do it. And at the same time, the devil used that, to say, I'm going to separate this family at the same time. But his love for me and his love for his boys, brought him back home.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful, though, because like you guys learned so much during that transition of understanding what was more important.
Right.
And had that not taken place, could you have, realized that? And could that not be the foundation for why you guys are so close and you guys have stuck together in your business and to decide to do things together like you guys have over the years?
Oh, yeah.
Was it like a turning point that you learned from that?
Well, I mean, I always keep God first. And in situations like what happened with me, me being gone for a while and them calling and all that stuff there. So I always said that, if anything should happen, I just have to leave this job. And it was just like I left one job, I got another job. And like I left that job,
I get another.
I got another. It's always a chapter and a door that's always open for me because, my faith.
And, family is first. The wife, a lot of people don't realize that when you make the commitment and the bond to make that covenant with God, to marry someone, that you really are putting that person first.
Yes.
And you are one with God in that equation. And a lot of us don't understand the vows that we take when we get married. But I understood my vows, when I married Katrina. I knew that when it came to the family, I understood Ephesians 5 when it talked about how the man takes orders from God.
Right.
and the woman obeys the man.
Amen.
But the man has to be submissive to God in order for the woman.
Amen.
So those things are not anything you have to challenge. It's just the way that God has ordained it for it to be. And when it happens that way, it works.
Yeah.
Amen.
No matter what we go through, it works.
It does.
So I think that's very important that we understand that marriage is a beautiful thing. It is the most powerful relationship on earth.
It is.
Yeah.
Demetrius, I think that, talking about difficult times, I have to share when I fell in love with him again, Katrina, was in 2008 when I almost lost my life giving birth to our daughter who lost her life at that time. But Chris transitioned into the man that I knew he was, but just the way that he just loved me when I was at my lowest point. And that was a difficult time for our family. It was a difficult time for both of us going through the blame game or who fault it was and everything about, the pregnancy and losing the baby. But I actually fell in love with him all over again.
That is so awesome. That is just beautiful. Y'all just giving me chills. Let me ask you something, Chris, about being in the spotlight. You have a beautiful woman, well known in the community, and the question is, how do you share the spotlight with her when she's in it?
I don't.
Oh.
I don't. I've always been the one to throw her out there in the front and, represent us because that's what she was born to do. She was, as I say, her mom said when she came out, she was talking.
Awesome.
So I don't have to run to, like to say the camera, spotlight or nothing because that's what I push her up to do.
That's awesome.
I encourage her. I, just keep her encouraged all the time about, being that person that stands out. And I've never been the one to, be in that spotlight. But my work is done.
Well, the beautiful thing about that is, like when your heart is in the right place, it's just like when you have your mate, like, I want you to be successful at what you do.
Exactly.
So whatever it is I got to do to make sure that happens, then that's what I want. That's what love represents. It represents the other person. What you would do for the other person. It's not about yourself. It's about the other person. So,
and I
that's
do.
Big, man.
That's big, and I'm grateful because we're blessed, Stormy, as well as myself.
Yes.
Because we do have supporters,
That's
men. That know our potential,
right?
Know our strength,
right? And
say, okay, baby, you go get it,
right?
And the one thing that Mr. Early told me when on our first date, when he said, "Okay, you my wife," he said, "I got plans for you, girl."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's so amazing that you share that because. I guess that was in 2009 when I preached my first sermon. And Chris got up to introduce me. And he said something so profound. And it's prolific that I share it today. He says, I'm sharing her with the world.
Wow.
And I think about that all the time. The higher that God takes me, I think about what he said at that very moment, that he introduced me to the world and that he was sharing me with the world. Yes. So, I think he made that commitment that day. And I think that God heard him and that he honored him for being obedient in that moment to know that it was way more than just preaching.
Amen.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's exciting that, Stormy and I came through the ministry at the same time. We came through at the same time.
Yes.
In 2009. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I remember that.
But that's good to be able to share because it's a lot.
Yes,
and a lot of men and a lot of people don't understand the pressure that we as entrepreneur women, strong women, go through with our assignment that God has given us.
Yes.
Now, we know it's hard for the man, but just imagine us as the woman and God saying, okay, now you go do this.
Exactly.
And so you have to have a solid foundation with your relationship, as well as a strong foundation with the man of God that God has given you.
Yes,
and Chris, leading, being the leader, being the head in a relationship with a woman that has the abilities that our women have, we kind of have a similar situation here, you know what I mean? And sometimes it can be challenging because they're very strong, and we had a show recently talking about can the alpha female and the wife coexist? So, we'll talk about that on another show. But
wow.
I know you probably have to deal with that sometime. But we'll talk about that later, man. But I think you're doing a great job, man. We thank you guys so much for coming on to our show. And we thank you guys so much for being a part of what we know to be the first edition of the Power Couple Show with Christopher and Stormy Watts.
All right.
Hey, we're so grateful.
We are so grateful.
We love our listeners. We thank you guys for being a part of this show this morning. If you could, go to www.makememomepower.com. And listen, we have a workbook. Hey, get this workbook, folks. Go to our website, www.makememomepower.com. Or you can email us
at www.makememomepower@gmail.com.
So, go get our workbook. It's powerful. It's going to help change lives. If you're mature enough to work through this together, it'll be a wonderful thing because power couples need love and need understanding of God's word at all times too. And if you're not a power couple, you want to be a power couple, this book can help you be one. Amen.
So, Stormy, Chris, do y'all want to say anything before we wrap up? We have like a couple of seconds.
Go ahead.
Sure. I would just like to say that Chris is just the type of man who is the leader, but he lets me lead from behind.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that is one of the biggest things that women have to learn is that you still have to be submissive to no matter what position that you're in. You still have to be submissive and knowing that you are the wife and that he is the head as your husband.
Amen. Yeah. And that's why it's always when couples say, I have the perfect mate for me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I got the perfect work for me.
Right, because it's not, and everybody.
I got the perfect mate for me.
Say it then, huh?
Make sure you say it and that you know it.
I do.
So we thank you all for listening in.
And thank you guys for joining us on this 7:30 radio talk show on Sunday morning. We're excited. We love you guys. Please tune in for next week's show. It's going to be powerful. It's
Another
all about
power couple.
It's all about the power couples, baby. Christopher and Stormy Watts. We love y'all.
We love you all. Thank you all.
Thank you for having us.
Peace.